UFC 292 is this weekend. Aljamain Sterling will be defending his bantamweight belt for the 4th time against the young superstar Sean O'Malley. This is a very interesting fight because we really don't know how good Sean O'Malley is. We know he has great striking, but we are still unsure about his grappling. You would assume Aljamain Sterling should win because his grappling is probably the best in the division. However, Aljamain Sterling's striking is still questionable, and in Aljo's last 4 fights, it's hard to understand how good he is. Aljamain Sterling is the only champion in the UFC where people still don't believe he is worthy of being a champion, and I completely understand it. Aljamain Sterling is definitely good, and he has the skills to beat anyone. It's just that Aljamain Sterling hasn't really been dominant in his last couple of fights, and in his previous fights, they were either split decision wins or a weird fight where the opponent went in injured. Aljamain Sterling is 23-3, and his last couple of fights have been weird. He had a very close split decision win against Henry Cejudo. Many people thought Henry Cejudo won that fight. He went into a weird fight with TJ Dillashaw where TJ Dillashaw had no shoulder and had one arm to fight with. And the fight before that, Aljamain Sterling had another close split decision win against Petr Yan, where many people thought Petr Yan won the fight. And the fight before that, Petr Yan ended Aljamain Sterling with a illegal knee and caused the fight to be a DQ. It's been a weird time for Aljamain Sterling. I definitely think he is good and a top 3 bantamweight, but I do think his time being a champion is a little questionable, and the split decision wins and the weird fight with TJ hasn't helped him as a champion. Aljamain Sterling is on a 9-fight win streak, but the man he is facing has a lot on his shoulders and still has to prove that he is a #1 contender. Sean O'Malley is 16-1. O'Malley is a very unique fighter who is coming off a very big split decision win over Petr Yan. O'Malley is known to be the flashy striker who shit talks every opponent and improves in every fight he is in. Sean O'Malley throws 7.43 significant strikes per 15 minutes and only absorbs 3.54 significant strikes per 15 minutes and has a 60% takedown defense. These numbers are really good, and it just shows how much output Sean O'Malley uses. Aljamain Sterling lands 4.78 significant strikes per 15 minutes and only absorbs 2.37 significant strikes per 15 minutes, which is a very good differential. Aljamain Sterling lands 2.02 takedowns per 15 minutes, so you should expect Aljamain Sterling right off the gate go for a takedown against Sean O'Malley. I think this fight means more to Aljamain Sterling than it does Sean O'Malley. I think Aljamain will have more pressure in this fight than Sean, and the question would be if he can end his career at bantamweight in a dominant fashion than in his previous fights. I think because Sean O'Malley is so young and a lot of people are already counting him out, that it doesn't really matter as much. I believe if Sean O'Malley does lose this fight, he will have many more chances in the future because he is a big name fighter and is still super young. Before I tell you who I think will win, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I think this fight will either be super close and Sean O'Malley wins, or this will be a one-sided fight where Aljamain's grappling is too much for Sean O'Malley and Aljamain will win by unanimous decision. If I had to pick who I think would win, I would choose Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley is a great underdog pick. Although he might not have better grappling than Sterling, he may have good enough defense to prevent any big threats and use his striking to pressure Sterling and use his power to finish Sterling. You may see a case where Aljamain Sterling is grappling and using a lot of the clinch game against Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley is able to get distance and hopefully add some combinations to his punches and finish Sterling in the best case scenario. I do think Sean O'Malley's power can overwhelm Sterling, especially since Sterling is cutting a lot of weight. That can affect Sterling's chin and his endurance throughout the fight. I think Sean O'Malley will probably win by a close decision, but he could always finish Sterling. Anything can happen in MMA. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.